Is there any way you could have greenlit Faith any earlier?
Probably not.
How come?
No, I mean, because well, yeah, if I made it for less money. If we made the movie for $10,000, sure, but I couldn't have made the movie. I think there's some people, well, what did I say? I had a friend of mine say that to me at one point, probably 3 or 4 years ago. Why don't you just, try to do it now for $50,000 or something like that, which couldn't have put together $50,000 even if I wanted to at that time. But I had said, well, I want to give it its best chance, to make it at a level where it has a better chance of sort of getting out into the world and people seeing it and responding to it. Now, that still may not happen, and we made it for more than $50,000, but not a ton more. Well, a little bit more. But anyway, so I mean, I could always greenlight it myself if I was going to make it for super, super cheap. But I needed some outside money in order to make it at a level. And we still had to make it at a smaller level than originally intended. We were supposed to shoot in May of last year, and the money fell out, to make it at a certain level, and the money fell out 2 weeks before we were supposed to shoot. Again, this is not an uncommon story. This happens to so many people, even much bigger films than ours, it was a devastating thing. But after I got over that, we sort of picked ourselves up, and I had to rewrite the film to be smaller so that we could make it at a level that we knew we could get that amount of money for. And so that's what we did. You were asking about limitations. I mean, there's a limitation right there. We had a movie that was budgeted, needed to be made at this level. We couldn't get that money at that level. We could get the money at this level. So then we wrote a movie I rewrote the movie so it fit that budget level. And to do it for $50,000, it would have been a different level. I mean, the cost of making a movie, just the labor alone, what it means when you're getting in those budget levels at $50,000, or Eliza Hittman's first film, It Felt Like Love, which I think she made for like 20 grand or something like that. It's a beautiful movie. Just like one of those things, like The Writer, both of them are getting bigger budgets than they deserve them, because to be able to do what they did with the limited amount of money, they both deserve bigger budgets and to be trusted with them, because they clearly know what they're doing. Just the labor, when you're getting down to $50,000 or $20,000 or whatever, it just means you have less and less people working on the movie. Your camera team is one person, you have a camera person, a sound person, and maybe one other person, and that's it. And so it's really, really hard to make a movie under those circumstances, and there's no way I could have made this movie under those circumstances. So I had to make it at a certain level. I could get it down to this level. I couldn't go any farther.
Were you cutting out locations or certain characters?
Yeah, I had to cut. When I went from the version that was supposed to exist in May, it was cutting down locations and cutting down characters. But it was not cutting, it was all extraneous stuff. It was stuff that was not central to the story, or more important to me was the themes. That stuff. If I can keep the themes of the story, that stuff doesn't get weakened, then I can find a way to do it. That was the most important thing to me. But yeah, so it's always the thing. Like, it's the thing I teach my students. 2 people in a room. That's cheap to do. If you can keep and they're in the same room, you keep 2 people in a room, like. That's the way to do low budget filmmaking. Once you add more rooms and add more people, it gets much more expensive.
And when you talk to your students about sort of shrinking it down
Mm-hmm.
and still having an effective story,
Mm-hmm.
how do they feel about that? Because so many people, they just, like you said, you want to do Transformers first.
Yeah, they hate it. Everybody hates it. I hated it. When I had to shrink the story, I hated it. But if you're going to make the movie, you got to make the movie with what you have. They hate it. But it's part of the process. Like, you got to learn. Because if I just let them go, if I didn't tell them that they had to shrink something down or it's not going to be physically possible, then when it comes to actually shooting it, that's when they figure it out. that oh, I can't really do this, and then by then it's too late, and then it's way too late. So, but sometimes they have to go through that process of, you know, they don't know what it's, you don't know what it's like until you've done it. There's nothing that prepares you for filmmaking. There's nothing like it, and it's the only way you can practice filmmaking is by making something. It's just the only way you can learn about it.